Actually, the origins of the variable beam with LED lamps are quite a funny story. I was out in Dubai, and just out of the blue, sitting around a table with my boss, Joe Ruston, who's been a really great help with this whole project. And he said how he'd always wanted a variable beam with lamp for his product collection. And he spoke to another company called Hofmeister, but actually they wouldn't let him sort of market their own lighting technology. So I was thinking to myself, well, the future really has to be LEDs. You can't be using halogen or tungsten anymore. So how can we do an LED, variable beam width lamp? Now the problem with LEDs is that if you use one, they're not bright enough, so you've got to use a big matrix, an array of them. Now my idea was to use a lot of LEDs, and thinking about it, sitting around this table, I took out a little piece of tissue and started drawing a sketch where you had some LEDs in the middle that would always stay still, and LEDs at the side that would move. Now I thought in my head that if you could just point these outside LEDs outwards, you'd have a wider beam. And that was really the start of this whole project. And when I got back from Dubai, I thought I'd draw a little bit more, but it really didn't continue until the start of the university year, when I was really needing a product. And I thought, well, what a great one to choose. There's actually a need for it, so let's do it. So when I was starting this project out, before I'd drawn anything at all, I really wanted to know what makes the people that will buy it or sell it for me tick. And being in the lighting design world for a year, I really understood who these guys are. And a lot of it is to do with you've got to take these people out to dinner and make sure they understand you and trust you and respect you. But at the end of it, it all depends on a good product will sell itself. Now in the lighting design world, they want good lighting quality. They want good lighting colour, and they want a good warranty. You don't want something to break, especially when it's up 40 feet in the air. Just to replace one lamp, you're going to have to call in a big genie lift that costs £100, £200 a day, just to replace one bloody lamp. So, LEDs. Now, LEDs lend themselves perfectly towards this. They're very, very good when it comes to lamp life. You can leave an LED on for 5 years without any problem, as long as they're cooled correctly. And they're very green, they're 3 times more efficient than an incandescent lamp. And in 2010, you won't be able to buy incandescent lamps. You can only buy fluorescents or an LED base or something called a metal halide lamp. And knowing what I knew and knowing what I researched, I knew I could take this project on and actually produce something that they want. I only had a little bit of time to test it before I had to hand it in, but it was certainly long enough to know the shortfalls of it. Now the mechanism is pretty good, I'm pretty happy with that. The output is fine. The only drawback was the actual machining quality that I did. Now because I got these sand cast, some of the sand castings have some little aberrations inside them, and you're drilling through, you hit a pocket and suddenly the drill bit will twist. That's not too bad if it's by a few fractions of a millimetre, but one time it hit it and it bent one of the axles that move these segments just a little bit. So when I go quite wide, you see a tiny bit more of a light to one edge of the beam. Now that's not a problem for the actual product or the design, it's just a bit of a machining error or a bit of casting error. But I'm very, very happy with how it turned out. I couldn't be happier. I think the only issue is how it looks. Now the prototype's quite rough because it's been sand cast. But that's where your SolidWorks comes in, and Bugspeed Hypershot, this piece of rendering software that just makes rendering really quick, really easy. You can apply any material you want to it, and it does it within a few minutes as opposed to a few hours for some of these others. And this gives you the opportunity to put your light anywhere you want. if someone comes to you and says, well, I like it, I want one in gold and I want to see it in the middle of an ocean, you could do it. So
And then along came a donkey, and it was going to eat Matt, and it was like dun 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 dun.